deep diving into these cases is like dancing with the devil. But when you dance with the devil doesn't change. He changes you. Good evening, everybody. Happy Thursday. Hope y'all are doing well, and today we're going to be talking about the Idaho 4 case. I'm fairly new to it, so I don't know a lot of the ins and outs. I don't know everyone's name, but there are some things that are weird, and we're going to be talking about that in the course of this live stream. So yeah, there's going to be some guests joining me on the panel tonight. And they'll be getting here soonish. And yeah, we'll be doing it up. So for those of you who aren't familiar, basic rundown, the Idaho 4, 4 teenagers were murdered in... Cat's going nuts here. 4 teenagers were murdered in their house. And they have a suspect in custody. His trial is coming up in the fall, I believe. And yeah, his name is Brian, I want to say Brian Koberger. Not sure if that's right. I think that's his name. I know it's Brian. Yeah, Koberger. Yeah. So, the long and the short of it is, he's most likely going to be found guilty because of the evidence found at the scene and the tracking records from his phone and his Amazon purchases and things like that. Sinister Shadows reacts, hello, hello. And yeah, the wife may join. She's at work, so it depends if she's too busy or not, but she will join if she can. But yeah, there's not too many people in yet, so I'm not going to go through all the stuff I have just yet. But we're going to be going over the 911 call and the text messages that were sent between, I want to say, Dylan and Bethany. Oh, you just texted her? Okay. Oh, she knows, yeah. I was just there, so yeah, she knows what's going on. Oh, and there she is. Hello.
Hi, who's in here?
Just us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no one else has come up yet.
I'll be here. They're always late. It's all they like it later. I think
Yeah.
I sent it to everyone. Let me double check quick. Hi, Haley.
Well, if not, when they pop in, I'll put
Yeah.
the link in the chat.
When they get here, they've arrived.
Yes. They'll get here when they get here, and that's fine.
I think Justin's popping by. Mandy, Tammie. I didn't send it to Lolly because I think something was going on. So, she had storms and no power or something. So.
Oh, lovely. You wish you were here. The U.S. sucks. Canada ain't no better.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you meant Cher, yeah.
You got your notes, babe?
I do. Holding it weird. Yeah, I'm ready to go.
There's something seriously wrong with this case, which I don't know a lot about this case. So if you ask me questions, I don't know. Mandy
Yeah.
knows.
Full
But
throttle
Karen,
junkie. What's up, buddy? You like
oh
the hair?
wow, bless him fast. I told him he should get dreadlocks in there like I'm getting.
Yeah, Cher's getting dreadlocks. She wants me to do it too, but
Or like one or two.
I
But
don't
you're
think
gonna
I can
shave
do it.
yours off.
I was
I'm gonna
planning
put
on
some
buzzing
here.
it. I was going to buzz it and donate it, but then Cher had an idea to buzz it and give her the hair to make into dreads.
Yeah, for my
I
hair.
kind of like that idea too.
Yeah, it's cool, right?
Yeah.
Since I can't put your rib bone in my dreadlocks like bumper.
That's a little morbid.
Whoa, baby.
Do it, lock it up. Well, I don't know if I can pull them off, man. Like you can, but yeah, I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's your buddy with the dreads. Didn't he get one stuck in a motorcycle tire once? Or something like that?
Yeah, I think you did, didn't you? Got it stuck in the chain?
I feel like I
Something?
watched that.
That seems familiar.
Wait, right, Haley?
A spoke. Oh, okay.
Oh shit.
Your head's too big for dreads? I got a big head too. But my hair, it's really thin. I don't know how well it would do as far
Yours
as
is
dreads go. I don't
thicker
know.
than mine. Dreadlocks, thin people with thin hair actually prefer dreadlocks because it gives them more hair.
Hmm.
Like that's one of the reasons I'm excited because I have very thin hair, but your hair is longer and thicker than mine for sure. So
Yeah, I got the longest hair in the house. I live with 3 girls. My hair's the longest.
till next month, then mine will be
Hmm.
I think longer than yours.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I don't have when you're getting 2 foot dreads and my hair is not 2 feet long. It's maybe a foot and a half.
Hi, Patty.
What's up, Patty Ponytail? Hey Eve.
Oh, let me share you out again. I shared it last night, but let me share it again.
Hmm.
Hi, Eve.
Well, I'm gonna have a smoke, and if people haven't popped in, I'm just gonna start. You love my hair? Thanks, Patty. I grew it myself. Yeah, there's so much weird about this case. My my opinion or my question really is I believe Brian is the one who did it, but I'm kind of wondering if he didn't have some help. And you'll see from the 911 call and when we explain the details. You still have the dancing video on your channel? Nice. Hey Trishy. But yeah, like there's
Hi,
so many
Tracy.
weird things that happen. Like 4 people were brutally murdered. Like not drugged or strangled. They were stabbed to death. So this would not be a quiet thing. And there were at least two other people in that house, and they didn't hear a thing, didn't
And
see
they
a thing,
survived.
and never saw anything until 8 hours later. So it's really, really weird.
And did you find out yet? Because I don't know this case very well, but why did those two, which are the shady ones on the 911 call and the text messages are shady, why do you think those two survived this mass predator?
I have no idea. Like, where I want to go is, did either of those two have any kind of relationship, friendship, romantic, or otherwise with Brian? Because it's so weird. And thumbs up number 9. Thank you, Sinister.
Now there's like rumors that Brian's dad is involved too.
Well, I think the reason Brian's dad has been kind of mentioned in this is because of the DNA. But a father and son, a parent and a child, their DNA is close. So,
But the DNA they did find at the scene doesn't even match Brian. And that's weird because
it
if you're
does.
stabbing 4 people, I heard it didn't.
No, it does.
Well, then
And
there's other DNA found that did not match Brian.
yes. Yeah, there was DNA under one of the victim's fingernails.
I was going to say, you're stabbing multiple people, you're more than likely going to cut your own hand or something stabbing like that.
Mm. Yeah, his DNA was found on the knife sheath that was under one of the victims.
Oh. Isn't it so weird that Mr. Scher knows more about a case than I do? But I'm digging into the Karen Reed case, and that also is super messed up.
Yeah, all these cases are.
Kind of, yeah. I hate this.
Yeah, Patty Pointel, he is odd. Oh my God.
What?
What's up, Mexico? I'm Redneck Santa.
Baby,
Ho, ho,
apparently
ho.
I lowballed myself, so there's going to be a like $10 put back on that card in 5 to 7 days.
Alrighty. Yeah, I got your message just as I was coming on here. I love that some of my biker buddies still come to my lives.
Yeah.
I've been pretty good, Dark. Same old, still doing the carpentry thing. Don't ride anymore because I sold my bike, but yeah, other than that, not much has changed. Stopped shaving and stopped cutting my hair. So this is the furriest I've ever been.
Yeah, but I love it. Everybody loves it.
I don't mind it either. It's just, I hate getting my hair caught and stuff. Zippers and my seatbelt for some reason. I'm always catching it in my seatbelt.
You won't wear it in a braid for some reason, and you don't keep it in a right ponytail, and it'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah, you
actually,
can't
yours
ride.
is really long. It'll probably get stuck on you. It's stuck on you when you lay on your belly so I can rub your back. It's like stuck under your arms, under your stomach.
It's everywhere. That sucks, Dark, man. I'm sorry. I miss it for sure. Someday, I'll get another bike. Thank you, Eve, and welcome to everybody. All right, so we might as well just start. We can always play it again, but I'm going to play the 911 call. And this was from, it was 11:56 or something like that in the morning, approximately 8 hours after the murders took place. And apparently one of the roommates, I think it was Dylan, discovered the body of her friend and roommate Xana, and then they called 911. But it's weird, and you're going to see why. All right, here we go.
So you can make judgments for yourself. Play it.
911 location of your emergency.
Something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122.
What is the rest of the address?
Oh, Kings Road.
Okay. And is that a house or an apartment?
It's a house.
Can you repeat the address to make sure that I have it right?
I'll talk to you guys. We live at the White, so we're next to them.
I need someone to repeat the address for verification.
The address, 1122 King Road.
And what's the phone number that you're calling from?
What's your phone number?
And tell me exactly what's going on.
One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she's not waking up.
Okay.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah.
And are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone, stop passing it around.
Can I just tell you what happened pretty much?
What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now?
I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m.
Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out?
Yeah, I'll come. Come on, but we gotta go check. But we have to. Is she passed out? What's wrong? She's not waking up.
Okay, one moment. I'm getting help started that way.
Okay, thank you. What's wrong?
Okay, and how old is she?
She's 20.
20, you said?
Yes, 20. Here's one.
Okay.
Hello? Hello?
Okay, I need someone to stop passing the phone around because I've talked to 4 different people.
Okay, sorry, they just gave me the phone.
Is she breathing?
Hello?
Is she breathing?
No.
Okay.
You need to talk to them, okay? I can't talk to them. I need you to talk to them.
Okay. Hello?
Okay. I've already sent the ambulance and law enforcement. Stay on the line. If there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
Say that again? There's a police here right now.
Okay. If there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
We don't have one. I think yes. Do you have a defibrillator? defibrillator? Yes, you have one.
Are you talking to the officer?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to let you go since he's there with you and can help you.
Okay.
Thanks for watching.
Okay. Hey, Rissa. Yes, I'm going down a rabbit hole with this one. But, okay, here's why that 911 call was so weird. This girl, Xana, was murdered. She was stabbed to death. There was blood everywhere. According to one of the officers, when they first walk into the house, there was so much blood you could smell the metal in the air. So it wasn't someone was drunk and passed out. Why would they say that? Why would they say she's just not waking up? They would know that she was attacked. It's so baffling to me. I don't understand. Some people are saying it's because she was in such shock or whatever. But, man, that's a big pill to swallow. And also because we're also going to look at the text between the girl who was on that phone call, Dylan, and another roommate, Bethany. And these texts were going on around or maybe even during the murders. And it's so weird.
It's during, because they're like, come down here. I'm like, a murder's going on and you're telling them to run downstairs. You guys don't run out of the house and call for help. You're texting instead to come down here. Come be with us.
Yeah, it's absolutely bonkers. Yeah. These people were horribly murdered, and the two roommates that survived didn't hear a thing. Dylan apparently saw the guy, and for some reason he didn't attack her. So yeah, very, very weird. I gotta find that. Okay, yeah, this was the so yeah, there's another video we're gonna watch right away here. And I'm gonna pull up a couple of things from it. Okay, yeah, we're gonna get into that, and where was it? It's right around here. Okay, so this is what they were texting when it was right around the time of the murders. Could have been just after, just before, but right around that time. It's so bizarre.
Kaylee, Xana, and Maddie all go unanswered. Now keep in mind, timeline-wise, Xana received her DoorDash order at about 4 a.m. and then 12 minutes later, she was on TikTok.
Yeah, and there was a DoorDash order at 4 a.m. too. So, did the DoorDasher notice anything? I don't even know if they've been questioned or anything like that.
Yeah, something about that, but I don't remember even. Hi, Risa.
However, it was 4:17 a.m. that the neighbor's camera, the Ring camera or whatever it was, caught the thuds, the barks, and the voices. So based on what we know, when DM and BF were texting back and forth, these murders most likely had already occurred, or they did already occur. Now, based on this next part, I'm assuming that BF didn't answer her phone either, because starting the next minute at 4:22 a.m.,
Just for reference, when she says BF, she means Bethany, and the other D is Dylan.
DM starts a back and forth text message conversation with BF, and it goes like this. DM, no one is answering. I'm really confused right now. Then she texts Kaylee's number saying, Kaylee. Then she sends a second one saying, what's going on? Finally, BF responds back to DM saying, yeah, dude, what the f***? Xana was wearing all black.
See, now that's weird.
Yeah.
For two reasons. Okay, first of all, Dylan had apparently seen this guy that was wearing all black and had bushy eyebrows. And then Bethany just said Xana was wearing all black. I don't understand that at all. But also, they're living in a house. They're not like across the city from each other. So if you want to get in touch with someone and they're not answering your text, why not go to their room? They're right there, like across the hall. And also, being in such close proximity, how did they not hear anything? Like nothing. But anyway, okay, let's keep going.
DM to BF says, I'm freaking out right now. No, it's like a ski mask almost. BF to DM says, shut the f up. Actually, DM to BF says, like he had something over his head and his mouth. I'm not kidding. I am so freaked out. BF to DM, so am I.
Okay, they're freaked out. Their friends aren't answering. They don't want to go and check on their friends, which is weird. They don't want to call the police because they saw a guy in a ski mask in their house. And they don't call the police?
Right.
They're just texting each other? What the hell is going on? And they're like, she's so freaked out. She's so scared, but not gonna go and check on your friends. Not gonna call the cops. Nothing. Not gonna call another
Stay
friend to come
inside
over.
that house.
Yeah, so weird.
DM to BF, my phone is going to die. BF to DM, come to my room. Run. Down here. Now, even though it might seem like those texts were over a long period of time, they were literally in a 2-minute window
That's
between
crazy.
4:20.
Yeah, so I didn't get the impression that those texts were over a long period of time, but like what the hell? I'm just going to switch over so I can see the chat. Oh, Mandy, you're coming soon? Right on.
Hey.
New
Can you
files
be-
say 3:15 for TikTok, so either typo or they lied. Okay. Trishy says, in my opinion, these girls are naive, living in a tri-level party house. They partied that night and they were creeped out, but at first thought maybe it was a prank by frat boys, etc. Okay. But that text didn't sound like they thought it was a prank. She sounded pretty shaken up. So, I mean, in my head, it's either you think something very, very wrong is going on, and in that case, you would either go and check on your friends or you would call the cops. Or you think it's just something kind of weird and you want to give your friends some privacy because maybe they hooked up or something. But that's not really what the texts are saying. It's sounding like they're scared. But like so scared to the point that she doesn't want to leave. They don't want to leave their rooms. But you're that scared, but you don't call the cops. Like, like it could just be a naive thing, or maybe they were partaking in some kind of narcotic, so they didn't want to get the cops involved or something. But I mean, it's just weird. And I still can't get past the fact that neither of them heard anything. Like, it's 4 a.m. There's not a lot of partying going on. Someone just got a DoorDash order. Everyone's kind of chilling in their rooms, apparently. And then just your friends aren't answering. So why wouldn't you be thinking, well, it's 4 a.m, they're probably asleep? Why is it something bad has happened, or you're freaking out? As far as I get, because the rest is weird. Needed to call the cops. My best friend's son attends University of Idaho. Need for the university to squash fear to save their reputation was wrong. Mm-hmm. Oh, this whole damn thing is weird. Okay, we should be getting Mandy coming up pretty soon.
She's a good one to ask the questions to on this case for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's more knowledgeable on it than I am. But
Did you get her
okay.
email?
What's that, honey?
Did you get Mandy's email?
Yeah, she sent me a court transcript. But I'm just going to go over a couple of my other notes here. So, Brian's DNA was found at the scene on a knife sheath. The knife was not found. But Brian did purchase a knife and a sheath and a knife sharpener from Amazon. And the sheath, the actual sheath and the sheath in the Amazon link are identical. So it's a pretty fair assumption that that was Brian's knife sheath.
So did you think he wanted to get caught for this then? Because why is he taking pictures prior, thumbs upping, leaving a knife sheet nicely set on a bed, I heard.
It was under one of the victims. He probably
Under?
lost it in the dark.
I just don't get why he'd be taking pictures. Like, obviously he was going to be looked into.
I don't think he thought he was going to get looked into.
No.
I mean, it was kind of a, hey, Bama. It was kind of almost a stroke of luck how they found him, because there was a white Hyundai Elantra that was seen in the areas and speeding away from the area around that time. So then the cops started looking for Hyundai Elantras, and there's like 22,000, but they ended up narrowing it down for people who were going to university or something. And that's how they ended up finding him. And then when they tested the DNA, there's some argument, well, there was, the defense tried to have the DNA evidence thrown out because they didn't obtain it with a warrant. They got it first from Brian's parents' trash.
Oh.
And then from...
1 second. If the trash was not on their property and was out at the curb, they don't need a warrant for that. It's public then.
Yeah, but then they did it was like an online genealogy thing. Like those places where you put in your DNA and then you see who you're related to and that kind of thing. They
Yeah.
found it from one of those sites.
But
and
we
it
know we
matched.
can't trust those sites now because anyone can enter stuff in, as we found out in Summer's case, right?
Yeah, that is true. But then once they arrested him, they swabbed his cheek, and it is a match to the sheath. So his DNA is on that sheath for sure. Yeah, like Ancestry. It wasn't that one, but it was, I can't remember what the name of it was, but something like that. The only DNA anywhere was that sheath, none transferred to his car or house. None of his in the house. There's blood in a glove that isn't his, but they didn't test it further. Right. And the other IgG analysis, that's what it was. Yeah. And the other thing is one of the victims had three sets of DNA under her fingernails. And that was inconclusive as to whether it was Brian's. It still could be, but it was inconclusive. But I'm thinking, and of course, they used the cell phone pings. So his phone was in the area of that house around the time of the murders, before and after. And during the time of the murders, his phone was turned off or on airplane mode. You want to go to the trial? Yeah. I wouldn't mind, because I would like to see what this guy's like in person. Because I haven't really seen much of him. Just that everyone says he's so weird. But yeah, I mean, if you're willing to stab 4 people to death, I'd say you're weird, yeah. I've read every document. I'm in too deep.
Do you feel like he
Oh.
would have done this alone, though? It's a lot of people in that house.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of wondering. Like he was involved, but was he the only one involved?
Mandy's
I don't know.
backstage, babe.
Yeah, and here's the wonderful, the smooth and silky voice and very knowledgeable Mandy.
Hey,
Will.
she finally got the intro.
That's
remembered.
one heck of an intro. Now, wouldn't it come up wouldn't it suck if I came up with a sore throat and I was like, I'm here. Thank you for that. That was awesome. I'm
Ooh.
sorry I'm late.
Oh, I'm glad you're here.
I've been listening, though.
Yeah, so we went over the 911 call and the texts, but
Yes.
we can go back over that again. But
No, I was listening. I had my earbud in the whole time when I was trying to get up here. So, hi, Trishy.
so I'm dying to know what you're thinking about all this stuff that's going on.
I'm just... One, I'm baffled about the roommates. One thing that I heard today, so after the 911 call came out, I heard that, the murders happened at 4 something in the morning, and they didn't call 911 until 11:58 a.m.
Mhm.
That was because when they woke up, they called a bunch of people over to the house, including Ethan's twin brother or triplet brother. I heard that the reason why the females sounded so, I don't know, ignorant, I guess, and didn't mention any blood is because the male went in there and didn't mention the blood to any of the females who were actually on the phone. So they just thought that Xana wasn't waking up, and that was all that was said. So that was all they relayed to the 911 dispatch. So it was basically like the guy was protecting the girls. They didn't get to see the victims.
Oh.
So if that's true, that makes more sense. Because when I heard that girl say she's not waking up and she was drinking last night, I was like, are you serious?
Well, and that one that was calm was the neighbor, I guess.
Right.
So, yeah, she wasn't, obviously, she probably didn't even go in the house. So she probably wouldn't know.
Right.
But how could the officer, when he got on scene and went in the house, there was so much blood everywhere, like you could taste it and smell it.
Right. Yeah. Unfortunately, I've smelled a deceased body. I shared that in my live stream the other night about this because I think that's important. You know, they say once you smell a house fire and a deceased body, those are two things that you'll never forget. And unfortunately, I've been blessed with smelling both. The house fire happened when I was pregnant, so I can't even eat anything that's roasted anymore. But my grandmother passed away in the comfort of her own home in her bed, and it was around 6 o'clock in the morning, and my mom waited for our family that was out of town before she called the mortuary to come and pick my grandmother's body up. And in that time frame, we started, the odor got so bad, we closed the bedroom door. The majority of the people went outside. I mean, it was one of those things that you will never forget. Like, the smell is so pungent and strong, and you do taste it. You do, like it's locked in your nostrils. And every once in a while, you might get a whiff that smells something similar to that, but you will never smell something identical to that unless it's the same thing,
Yeah.
So I don't know how they had 4 bodies in the house and didn't catch on to the smell. There's no way.
Yeah, and they didn't hear, none of the 4 victims screamed out.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's so bizarre.
And both of the rooms where 2 people had their lives taken, there was one single roommate directly below them. Directly. So we had Maddie and Kaylee on the 3rd floor, and Dylan was on the 2nd floor, right underneath them. And then Tryer's done. And then Xana and Ethan had Bethany in the room directly underneath them on the 1st floor, and they were on the 2nd floor.
Yeah, and how would you manage to attack and kill 2 people in one room without making a sound?
Right.
Cats make a thump louder than they jump usually. We're all running to check it out. Like, nobody was fumbling around that they could hear above them.
Yeah.
Right. Hi, Bama.
Bama?
Bama's here.
Hi, Bama.
We love
She's
us
so
some Bama over here.
Dude, we miss Bama.
Happy to see her in the chat tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bethany wasn't originally, I don't think that we talked a lot about Bethany because originally we thought there was talk that she hadn't moved in yet because she was the newest roommate. So when the body cam footage from September 1st, 2022 that I reviewed where I saw Brett Payne was an officer, she was at the house as a party guest. She had not moved in yet. So she had moved in sometime between September and November.
And Mandy, another thing I remember being very weird, because this isn't a closed or case or anything, right? How quickly did they demolish that house? And why do you think they did that? Because it was fairly quick after, wasn't it? Like 6 months or something, or less?
No, I think it was later than that.
I still don't know why they did that when it's probably was still full of some kind of evidences.
Well, here's my thing. I don't understand. Okay, they did a 3D rendition of the house. That's awesome. That's very helpful, when we're on here talking about, what happened and how it happened and, what rooms people are in. and we're sharing it with other people, trying to do education. That'll be helpful for the jury to review. They have pictures from the crime scene, I'm sure, to show the jury. But the jury should have had the opportunity to tour that house, to test the acoustics. Uh-oh, Cher left us.
No.
Come back, Cher. That's my main complaint, is now the jury can't go hear for themselves, because I want to know, if I'm in Bethany's room and there's a kerfuffle directly above my head, am I going to hear it?
Mm.
You know, so as a juror, I would want to go into Bethany's room and Dylan's room and have people go upstairs and start dancing in the room above me, you know?
Yep. And she back.
She back. Welcome back. My main complaint, Cher, is that the jurors won't have the opportunity to go inside of the house now and hear the acoustics of the home, to be able to see if Bethany or Dylan would have been able to hear any kerfuffle above them. And the reason why they said they tore it down was because the homeowner donated it to the college, and the college wanted it down because it was basically bad for business.
Oh. Yeah, they should have let the jury go through it like they had to do that with the Murdoch jury.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure the defense would have liked to have gone in there and do some testing as far as acoustics go. I know if I was a defense attorney, I sure would have.
I think everybody agreed to it. There was one set of parents that opposed it, but everybody else agreed to it. And I want to say it was Kaylee's parents that opposed it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just don't understand the time lapse, calling so many people over to the home, and then why the dispatch cut Bethany off when she said at 4 a.m. and she was like, cut her off immediately. And I was like, shut up, let her talk.
Well, I think the operator was frustrated because the phone got passed back and forth a couple times already by that point. And she was trying to figure out if someone was unconscious at that moment.
Right.
But, yeah. But that whole unconscious thing, I don't understand that. It's
I don't
not
either.
hearing anything. So, well, what you said, apparently Dylan didn't see the body or any of the bodies. It was the male Ethan. Was it Ethan?
Yeah, Ethan's brother. So
Ethan's brother.
Ethan is a triplet. He has a brother and a sister, and his brother was called over to the house.
Yeah, so he went in and saw Xana, and then
And his own brother, and reacted that way. Because they were in the same room.
He had seen his brother during that 911 call?
If that's who that was, if what I heard is correct, that is his brother, then yes, because according to the PCA, when officer new lead detective within September to November and takes on a quadruple homicide case, is correct when he said in the PCA that he was walking, that you could see Ethan on the floor from the hallway, and then you could see Xana on the bed when you got to the doorway.
Well, he called out he said Xana, Ethan.
Yeah. Yep.
We're going to have to listen to that 911 call again. Because if he saw his brother dead and that was his reaction, there's something seriously wrong. Okay, let's listen to that again.
Okay.
This happened in our house.
911 location of your emergency.
Something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122.
What is the rest of the address?
Oh, Kings Road.
Okay. And is that a house or an apartment?
It's a house.
Can you repeat the address to make sure that I have it right?
I'll talk to you guys. We live at the White, so we're next to them.
I need someone to repeat the address for verification.
The address, 1122 King Road.
And what's the phone number that you're calling from?
What's your phone number?
And tell me exactly what's going on.
One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up.
Okay.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah.
And are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone, stop passing it around.
Can I just tell you what happened pretty much?
What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now?
I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m.
Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out?
Yeah, I'll come. Come on, but we gotta go check. But we have to. Is she passed out?
That was it. Xana, Ethan.
Right.
And that's his brother, apparently?
That's what they're saying, that was who was at the house, because his vehicle was there. And I remember that there was talk about his vehicle being towed or not towed along with Ethan's vehicle because he came to the crime scene.
Now, what in the hell? Oh, and here's Tammie Barnes. You know her, you love her.
Hello. How are y'all?
Doing good.
Everything okay, Tammie?
Hey, Tammie.
Hey, sis. How are you? Yes, it's good. They're all firefighters. All my friend's a firefighter. Her daughter's a firefighter. Both their daughters, her husband, the son-in-law.
That is badass.
They're all on my fire department, and her baby was due April 8th. But she went to the doctor today, and the doctor was like, "Are you feeling bad?" She's like, "No, just my back hurts." And they're like, "You don't realize you're in labor?" And she's like, "No, I don't feel a thing." She didn't feel a thing. Yeah. So her baby, she had to have an emergency C-section today. So I went to the hospital to get the other daughter and the baby, her other baby, and brought them home so they didn't have to stay at the hospital.
Oh.
So, yeah. So that kind of threw a wrench. I wasn't expecting to have to go do that, but that's okay. That's what you do for each other.
Yep.
So.
Well, that's good. And I'm happy that everybody is happy and healthy and good. And
Yep, 6 pounds and 10 ounces and 18 inches long.
Nice.
goodness.
She's little. She's little. Yeah. Yeah.
Goodness. My son was 7 pounds 1 ounce. So I'm just a little bit tinier than him.
Yeah.
I was a preemie too.
Mandy, thank you for being a member.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Mandy. There's not much on there for member stuff, but I'm glad you're there.
I don't join for membership perks. I just join for support.
If you go on through the YouTube site, babe, you should be able to, you have to do it from the computer though, not your cell phone. You should be able to gift 10 members.
Oh, right.
You go in like you're about to buy them and it'll say, do you want a gift?
Yeah, from the YouTube side.
Yeah.
Hi, Bama Budgets. How are you?
Yeah, Bama joined us tonight.
Yeah.
Trish is here.
Trish is here. unfashionably late. I'm very sorry.
I was not much earlier than you, so it's okay. Mark and Cher carried on without us and did a great job. I was
going to
listening.
say they probably did a great job.
Yes. I love hearing Mark's insight about cases, so especially cases I know.
Yeah. Mark has good insight because he looks at things a little bit different than. I don't know how Mark does it, but he can totally be in the middle and look at both sides equally.
I try
Right.
to play devil's advocate with everything.
Mhm.
Like if everyone's believing one thing, I try and find reasons to not believe that.
Mhm.
He's
Well, you
that
guys are so cute. He keeps throwing everything on the TV and watching it. He's got his notebook and pen by the bed. He's like serious.
Yeah, good. If I don't take notes, I forget.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, what was I going to ask? Like, if I, like the other night,
Mhm.
my lives, I was like, oh, let me write this down to ask Cher because I would have forgotten it if I hadn't written it down.
Oh, you gifted 5. You got 5 more, baby.
Yep. So there's 5 new members.
Nice.
Mark, did you see I sent you another email as a reply to the first email?
Where's my phone? Yes.
Because
got
I
the,
sent
the
you.
court transcripts. And did you send me something else?
Yeah. So, I think I put enough detail in there that you wouldn't have to watch the video, but I sent you a video link because I didn't know if you'd want to review it or not.
Okay.
But it was very interesting to hear. And if not, I can try to find the paper myself. I haven't found that document, the 70-page document that's being reviewed in that video yet. But the contents of it are very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it on
definitely gonna
Idaho?
Give that a watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to give that a watch. So, does anybody on this panel think Brian didn't do it?
I don't think he did it.
You don't think he did it?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm on the fence. I kind of don't think he did it, but I'm on the fence with it.
So one says he's innocent, one's on the fence. Mandy?
I think he did it. I think he did it with help.
That's what I think. I think someone was helping him.
I definitely think it was more than one person.
Yeah. I don't see how one person could kill 2 people in one room
I don't
Yeah.
without making a sound.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think, let me clarify. I think he had a driver. I don't think anybody came in the house and helped him physically. I think he did that all on his own. He was too selfish and obsessed with true crime to let somebody mess it up for him.
Yeah.
I think he's too controlling, and he had it planned to the 9, and that after you watch that video that I sent you, I think you'll agree with me even more there. But I think that when the car parked, that was not when he entered the house. I think when the car entered the neighborhood, that's when he went in the house. So he had more time than 19 minutes. I think that he snuck in, whether Dylan helped him or not. That's open in my opinion. But I think he snuck in the house. I think he went up the stairs because Maddie was his one and only target that night. He wanted to enjoy, I refer to it as like a chef. A chef is back there busting their butt behind the stove and behind the grill, and they're trying to hustle and bustle to make this extravagant meal, but they love every minute of it, no matter how messy it gets, or even if there's a fire or, whatever, it doesn't matter. They enjoy what they do so much because they have a finished project to enjoy or watch someone else enjoy, or, they get to savor that, the work that they just did. Okay. And I know that that's a demented way to look at it, but that's the only way I can do it because none of us have a mind of a killer. So
it makes sense actually perfectly,
Yeah.
Mandy, because wasn't he in touch with a serial killer or two prior to this happening?
he
And as
idolized
we know,
he
yeah,
idolized BTK.
see, and he was talking to him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and see, killers, they like to talk to each other. I've learned that just from talking to my dad. Like, they do all somehow, these killers have a, I don't know what you want to call it, but they all somehow talk to each other.
Mhm.
I know 50 is the magical number that they all want to get to, and we learned that from Robert Picton and stuff too. That they all somehow have a line to each other. So with
Yeah.
what you're saying, yeah, he probably did want to do it to impress, the other killers he's talking to or whatever, and have that feeling, of his first one. And he probably honestly wanted to get to the 50th because I hear that's the big number for. I mean, he did 4 victims in one night, so.
Right.
Well, now it
Well, and I
explained
think
his thumbs up selfie
Yes.
later on in the morning.
You know the story
Yep.
behind that, right? You know the story that is behind that. Why he
No.
was doing that. So apparently, and I know it's going to sound weird, but apparently he never could do the top button of his shirt. And he finally done the top button of his shirt, and he was sending that picture to his mom.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Okay. Like he's 5 and
I'm just saying that's the story behind the.
I think I did hear that. But yeah, that is silly.
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
Yeah, it's. I'm not sure I buy that one, but
Yeah.
I mean, tying a tie, I might believe it, but buttoning the first button, yeah, no.
Yeah. I don't.
A tie is a little bit more complex than a button, so I might believe something along those lines, but probably not.
Mhm.
But I think that's why when Kaylee came in the room, he wasn't expecting Kaylee to even be there. Kaylee wasn't supposed to be there. So if Kaylee wouldn't have come in the room, then there wouldn't have been any noise except for between he and Maddie. And I think he had planned on muffling the noise as much as he could. And if Dylan was in on it, Dylan would have been the only one that would have heard something because she was directly below Maddie's room. So he goes in, targets Maddie, starts with Maddie, and Kaylee's across the hall and hears something. And so she goes to check on her sister, her best friend, and walks in and sees him and freaks out, which is why she was almost decapitated because he was pissed. What are you doing in here messing up my project, my entree? Like, why are you doing this? So get out of the way as quickly as possible. And I mean, even Kaylee's dad said that, she had the worst injuries on her. And, like he had just gotten started. So he was still full of energy. And I think that's why Xana had so many defensive wounds on her because he was exhausted by the time he got down to her. And she had a good fight against him. And I think, Xana heard something and she had Ethan go check on what the noise was. And I think that Brian was coming down the stairs and Ethan and Brian saw each other. And, Dylan said that she and Brian saw each other, allegedly. So, I don't know exactly when that happened. I think it was after he had left Xana and Ethan, after he got done with them on his way out the door. But yeah, I think then he saw Ethan and he was like, shit, can't leave more behind. But by the time he saw Dylan, he was so exhausted, he was like, screw it. I'm done. I'm out. And that's why Dylan survived.
Suspect of the roommates.
see that even makes it stranger for me because the way I pictured it was he snuck into their rooms while they were sleeping and attacked them. But like if people were moving around and changing rooms and stuff like, and one having so many defensive wounds, there would be people would be screaming bloody murder, literally.
Well, and allegedly, remember there was a neighbor's security footage that caught screaming and the dog barking. And there was one that was debunked, that was fully fake. But there was another one that was allegedly real. And I think that's the one that you could hear where a male said, "I'm here to help you."
See, I didn't even know
Mhm.
about that.
I'm here to help you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be scared. I'm here to help you, or something like that.
Right.
Mhm.
Crazy.
But they weren't asleep yet. They had, Xana had just gotten DoorDash delivered right at 4:02 a.m. or 4:04 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think DoorDash was knocking on the door at the same time Brian was sneaking in the back of the house.
Yeah, it
I
was
think
right
he
around
was
that time.
I think he was in there already. Or, well, I don't think Brian did it. I think the person that I think that did it, I think he was in already.
I'm going to look.
I think
I
he
found the
went in the house
PCA.
and hid. I think he went and hid while they were out.
I found the PCA and I screenshot it. So I would have the times for sure because I think that the times play a significant role in this too. Especially since allegedly Brian's cell phone pinged to the house Wi-Fi or was in it, not it pinged to the Wi-Fi. His phone was back around the house at 5:39 a.m. So less than an hour after he had left.
And when he was arrested, he said, "Was there anyone else arrested?"
Makes me wonder when he realized that he left the Sleeth behind.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the sheath getting left behind, I think that makes more sense now because he planned everything, but he probably put the sheath on the empty bed, attacked this first victim, and then the girl came in when she heard the ruckus, and so he really violently attacked her, and she probably just landed on the sheath and he couldn't find it.
Well, it said, so it said both girls were on the bed, but the Sleeth was, it was beside Maddie. It said it was to Maddie's right side. But to be fair, we don't know which side Kaylee was laying on. You know, if she was beside the sheath on the other side, you know, like if she was to Maddie's right side also. But yeah, I think Trishy, I think that Xana really ordered the DoorDash. I think if she hadn't ordered it, that maybe she would have said something to the driver like, "I didn't order this," or "Who sent this?" Or, you know, like I think that the DoorDash driver would have given more information.
Aw, thank you, Tammie.
Tammie, thank you for being a member of 47 months.
Dang.
That's older than my grandbaby.
I've been around a minute.
You panel hopper from Tennessee.
That's right. Oh my gosh. Maybe it's not Tennessee. Maybe it's, where else was I supposed to be from? There's another state in there. Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Because I sound like I'm from there.
Great Britain, don't you know?
That's where Brian Koberger was arrested, was in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers.
So much weird.
So it says, in the PCA, it says, as I entered this bedroom, I could see two females in the single bed in the room. Both Kaylee and Maddie were deceased with visible stab wounds. I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Maddie's right side when viewed from the door. The sheath was later processed and had K-Bar and USMC and the United States Marine Corps Eagle Globe and Anchor insignia stamped on the outside of it. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA left on the button snap of the knife sheath. Now, see, and I think he thought he had cleaned everything. Like, he wrote a paper, so that's what I sent you, Mark, was a video about this paper he wrote back in May of 2020 for class. And he talked about the fictitious crime scene was a female who had been stabbed. And he wrote what you would have to put on before entering the scene. He talked about contamination of the crime scene. And every time you go into a crime scene, you take things in with you. So you have to be completely covered so that you don't take things in with you. And just hearing that little bit of the paper that was talked about in that short video, I truly believe he was covered in head to toe. He had a bag that had his cover-up stuff in it and the knife in it. And I think he did his deeds. And then before he got in his car, he took his cover-ups off, put them in the bag, and jumped in, and they dashed out of the neighborhood.
Yeah,
It would make sense that they'd have something covering them, you know, because.
Well, Dylan saw some man with bushy eyebrows.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that could have been Brian. It could have been another person.
Right.
Or she could have made it up.
Yeah.
So in this part said Dylan and Bethany both made statements during the interviews that indicated that occupants of King Road residence were at home by 2 a.m. and asleep, or at least in their rooms, by approximately 4 a.m. This is with the exception of Xana, who received a DoorDash order at approximately 4 a.m. and law enforcement identified the DoorDash delivery driver who reported the same information. She said that Dylan said that she went to her bedroom and fell asleep, and she woke up at 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Kaylee playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms. A short time later, Dylan said she heard who she thought was Kaylee saying something to the effect of, "There's someone here." A review of records obtained from a forensic download of Xana's phone showed that this could have also been Xana, as her cell phone indicated that she was likely awake and using the TikTok app at approximately 4:12 a.m. And Dylan said she looked out of the bedroom.
I saw someone earlier said that TikTok thing was reported as 3:15 a.m. So it could have been an error.
Oh,
There's a lot of
that
about they're changing. You know, they said this and now they're changing it to that. I think it was just messed up from the beginning.
Yeah. And there's a lot of fake stuff online too. Like I saw a video where someone reacted out the 911 call.
Oh.
Yeah, like they used. Well, she used her own voice for all the parts.
Oh, weird.
It was odd. Yeah, I don't know why they did that, but.
And then they have that, detective that has all the experience on the case.
And Tammie, we don't know what experience he has because his work record is personal, okay?
That's right. I'm sorry.
We're not entitled to his work history.
That's
You're
the
right,
guy that
because
got
We're not
promoted so
privy to
fast.
that.
Yeah, because just a week before he was like a street cop. So I'm sure he's got tons of experience, right?
Right.
Well, I don't know if it was the week before, but in September he was a street cop, and by November he was the lead investigator on a quadruple homicide.
Well,
This
that
is
inspires
like-
confidence.
Right. That's who I want on my daughter's murder case if there
Yep.
was such a thing.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't give me some salty experienced detective. No, I want the newbie.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
The
I want
rookie.
the fresh young go-getter
Right.
Yep.
who doesn't know anything.
Mm-mm. Yep.
Who was an ass as a street cop.
He probably has not even seen a deceased person.
He was very arrogant. If I recall correctly, it was him in the body cam footage who was very cocky and arrogant. So here's where it talks about the video. It said at approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1112 King Road, a residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road, picked up distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper, followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times, starting at 4:17 a.m. The security camera is less than 50 feet from the west wall of Xana's bedroom. And then it was shortly after that Dylan stated she opened her door for the third time after she heard the crying. So they did hear stuff.
Why
This is
didn't
the
they
thing.
just
There
call
was noise.
Why didn't they just call 911 right then?
Right.
Why keep opening your door and why just call 911?
Well, she said she heard crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. And she described the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past Dylan as she stood in a frozen shock phase, and the male walked towards the back sliding glass door, and Dylan locked herself in her bedroom. And after seeing the
And he
male,
just let her live after killing everybody in the house. He just let her live.
Yeah.
After
right,
I mean,
right. Well, now my thing is, I wonder if he didn't see her. I wonder if his adrenaline was pumping so much. He had just taken the lives of 4 people. He had to have been exhausted by that point. And knowing that he's on a time clock, that he's got to get out of there before the neighbors start hearing stuff, or Dylan was in on it. I mean, I can't let go of that option
Yeah,
either.
I kind of feel that.
yeah.
I think 1 or 2 other people might have been involved.
I mean, why
It
wait
sure makes
8
you wonder.
hours? Why wait 8 hours to call the police at all?
Doesn't make sense.
If he went out the door, then you should be on the phone with 911.
Well, even when they finally did make the 911 call, they're saying all this stuff and passing the phone around, and then it was like a last thought. Oh, and by the way, there's a guy there, and she just like rushed right by that, like it was nothing.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah,
Right.
by the way, not, yeah. Yeah.
Marissa Murphy was in the house with Kaylee. From what I heard and what I've read, Kaylee was in the bedroom with Maddie when they got home from the bar and the Grubhub truck and all of that. They went in the bedroom. They called Jack a bunch of different times. He didn't answer. So Kaylee finally went to her bedroom, and Murphy was in her room, and Maddie was in her own room. So when Kaylee came out and went into Maddie's room, she must have closed the door behind her to keep Murphy. I'm sure that was probably a common thing that she did, especially like on a weekend or whatever, not knowing who all's at the house. She probably kept Murphy in her bedroom. So it was probably habit to close the door behind her when she walked out. But when the police arrived, Murphy was in the bedroom.
Mm.
They supposedly did a test that showed that he was outside. I haven't heard that. To be fair, I haven't read through all of the new documents either. I just started reading through them.
And this just keeps getting crazier. So yeah, if
Right?
there was a dog in the house during that time, it would be going nuts.
Well, and it was
Everybody in
caught on
that house would
camera.
have heard that.
That's
What
why I
kind
think it's important that it was caught on the neighbor's security camera at 4:17 a.m. of the dog barking
Mm-hmm.
and the loud thud and the whimper.
what kind of
This just
test
makes
would
no
they do
sense.
to show the dog was outside?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard of anything like that.
Well, they've just thrown about enough junk in there in with the facts that make you not, confuses you on what could have happened because it's so much crap.
Mm.
Right.
That's just like
It is.
the Chris Watts case.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how many pages and pages of useless crap there was in that discovery file?
Yeah. Yep.
Holy.
Mm-hmm.
And the part two, it had so much weird stuff that just had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah. Yep. I think they do that on purpose.
Yeah.
Marissa, I haven't heard of Scott and Hannah. Is it in the Idaho case, or is that a different case?
Maybe they were the ones that did that test thing.
Maybe. No, let me see if it says. I'm gonna try to get the other documents. And see, in the document that I sent you, the transcript from court, and that's where it stated that the gloves that were out front that Chris McDonough found, the black gloves, those had a male source DNA inside of them. There was a blood spot on the railing coming down from, I think, the third floor to the second floor. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that was they had 4 different male DNAs,
Yeah.
blood
Yep.
DNAs,
Yep.
not just touch DNA, but blood DNA.
You're right. Yep.
Mm.
And that was
So the
listed in that
DNA,
document.
the blood DNA in the gloves was not Brian's.
Right. It was somebody
Right.
else's DNA
Yep.
other than his. Yes. The only place his DNA was found was on the button on the
Yep.
sheath. That was
Yep.
it.
That was it. Yep.
Hmm.
Yep.
Jeez. And not
Strange,
for nothing,
right?
but I mean, if this guy is, looking to get his first kill or whatever, and he apparently cased the house a lot, like cell phone data shows he was in that area a lot.
Yep.
Why would he choose a house like that with so many people in it?
The challenge.
I don't know. That just seems so counterintuitive. I mean, most people who commit murders, especially serial killers and people like that, they try to get someone isolated.
Right. Yeah.
Well, but that's simple. I mean, I think that that's why I think he was a cocky, arrogant person that wanted to go, go big, basically. Go big or go home, I'm going to do this. I think he saw Maddie and she was his target and he planned it. He bought the knife and all of that, like all of the receipts and records of when he purchased the stuff that was used. And I guess after the murders, he was trying to replace the sheath. He was back on Amazon or something looking at a replacement for it. I don't think he ordered it, but his history showed that he searched it.
Wow. That's incredibly dumb.
Right?
Yeah. That's why it's so weird.
I think the only reason why I think he thought he was going to get away with any of the planning that he did was because it was so far before the murders and it was spaced out so much that he didn't think that they would link everything together as well as they are. Just my opinion.
Yeah. So, Rissa, this is interesting. Hannah overdosed. She was supposedly Dylan's best friend, and Kaylee or Maddie bullied her. Scott vowed to avenge her death, though, and I'm not trying to talk bad about victims.
That's interesting.
It is.
Well, because one thing that's definitely lacking is motive. Because I haven't found anything that shows Brian having any kind of contact or relationship with any of the people in that house.
I don't think he had to, because they could have been, maybe he's seen them before. He's about the same age, no?
Mm-hmm.
But again, he was talking to serial killers, and so he was going to kill somebody, in my opinion. He wanted to do that.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't in the same college they were in either.
No, but he's like the same age, right? So he might have seen one of them or some of them around.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to eat at the same place, I think, or it was either where Maddie worked or where Maddie used to eat often, and
Okay.
Brian did too.
Did he like one of them and they were not liking him back, or?
He followed
that's
one
what
of them. He followed one or two of them on Instagram, or he followed them on social media. I know that. I can't remember who and which platform it was, but I know that that was found out. I know I have a screenshot of it somewhere, but I can't think of who it was and which platform it was.
Well, you know, when girls like, and I'm not trying to talk about Maddie and Kaylee at all, or Dylan, but girls like them, a lot of times they make guys like that feel like they're too good for them.
That's what I was thinking, is like, were they being mean girls to him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking
like,
maybe
you know,
he got
you're out of our
rebuffed or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, well, like some serial killers, they pick a victim that they're sexually attracted to, because sex and murder are tied very close. And these girls were attractive, so that could have been enough for him to want to. Yeah. It's like, oh, I like her. She'll be a great victim.
And if they wouldn't give her the time of day, that would make him mad too.
Yeah, that just add fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
Oh, and
because I can kind of be that way. I can kind of see that, sadly, but I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
There was oh shoot, what was it? Oh, so one of the things that Brian would have known by studying criminal justice and, you know, doing what he was doing and the type of assignment that he was allegedly doing to write that paper, he would know that when law enforcement is looking for a vehicle, that they usually do like an hour before and an hour after the time frame that they think that the crime was committed. Which that would partly explain why Brian didn't just drive the 10-minute drive back home if he committed this crime. He drove all the way. He did. What time was it? He got home at 5:25 a.m. So he made sure that he wasn't in that hour time frame directly after, if it was him who did this.
And he had enough forethought to turn his phone off too.
Yep.
But then he made such other stupid mistakes.
Yeah, it's hard to believe he makes such stupid mistakes, isn't it? You go through all that and you accomplish all that, and then you make stupid mistakes. You sneak in, nobody knows you're in there. You do, you commit your murders, and then you get out of there and you don't leave very much behind. But then after that, you make all kinds of stupid mistakes. And it makes sense.
So far, he did an excellent job, allegedly, if it was him, of planning out the crime scene details. Even with the surprise of Kaylee being there and Ethan seeing him and Xana being in the room that Ethan ran to, I mean, there was definitely a fire on his grill, but he got the fire put out and cleaned up, pretty well on his way out. Like there was nothing left behind other than he really believed he got that sheath clean. No matter whose sheath it is, the killer believed he got that sheath clean. And it just so happened that the DNA that was on that button comes back to Brian Koberger,
Yeah.
And then they start digging into all of the different things. He never thought that they would link him to the murder because of the house being spotless from his DNA. If he wouldn't have left the sheath there would have been zero DNA inside of that house to implicate him.
Yep.
It's so sad that they tore the house down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that's crazy. I've never heard of them getting rid of evidence like that even before a trial starts. They just tore the house down.
I mean, even the West Boys case, I talked about this in my live the other night too. The grand jury got to go out to the Aspen house. Okay, the 3 and 4-year-old little boys were reported missing from California City, California, and they lived on Aspen Avenue. The boys were never at Aspen Avenue. They were deceased when they lived in Bakersfield, California, at an apartment complex before they moved into the house on Aspen. The younger one might have been at Aspen one day, but they had the grand jury go out there and walk up and down the road and stand over by where the neighbor's camera was so they could see where the footage came from and see the backyard, and they could see the lights on the house. Uh-oh, did Mark leave us? Oh, there.
I'm back.
What happened? There you are.
That was quick.
Playing magic tricks. So the grand jury got to go out and look at a house where a crime was not committed other than false use of 911.
Yeah.
So this happened to be a quadruple homicide, and now there's no crime scene to walk around.
Yeah. Because that
weird.
house is so odd that you can do the 3D videos and show them, hey, this is the layout and everything, but they're not going to be able to see it in the dark like he would be in there in the dark, or they wouldn't be able to stand there where Dylan was standing in the dark and see if he could have seen her. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're not going to be able to do all that stuff because the house is gone.
Yep.
They're
Hey, can
not-
you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I don't see how they can convince everybody, except for Kaylee's mom and dad, that it was a good idea to tear that house down.
Yeah, I don't. And the owners donated it to the school.
Right.
I wonder if I still feel like, who are the parents? Who are they tied to? Because it feels like somebody that lived in that house is being protected. I think that's why they tear it down.
Well, something isn't right. That's for sure.
Right. So Brian was a PhD student in criminology at Washington State University, and it said, pursuant to records provided by a member of the interview panel for Pullman Police Department, we learned that Koberger's past education included undergraduate degrees in psychology and cloud-based forensics. These records also showed Koberger wrote an essay when he applied for an internship with the Pullman Police Department in the fall of 2022. Koberger wrote in his essay that he had interest in assisting rural, I can't say that word, RURAL, law enforcement agencies how to better collect and analyze technological data in public safety operations. He also posted a Reddit survey, which can be found by an open source internet search. The survey asked for participants to provide information to, quote, understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision making when committing a crime.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's funny that he was so into the technological thing and he screwed that up so badly.
Yeah, it's weird.
I almost wonder if he hadn't studied it enough in school yet to know all the details. Like I said, that paper, he knew all about the crime scene. That was, the information that he had studied the most was about the crime scene. And let me find that one part where it says the main details. I mean, he talked about taking pictures of the crime scenes and but the part where, okay, right here, it says equipment I will have on hand for the investigation. So this is him writing out a paper as if he were the detective investigating a crime scene himself. Okay. And so it says equipment I will have on hand for the investigation. To be prepared for crime scene investigation, I must ensure I have a crime toolkit containing the following: a 35 millimeter camera or digital camera capable of videotaping with adequate supply of film or power, portable lighting system to ensure quality photographs, and that I do not miss or step over any evidence. We lost Mark again. Save Mark.
I think he's seeing if we're paying attention.
Save Mark.
Save Mark.
Well, what do I win? I was reading and I noticed.
That's right. He's back. We saved him.
We saved him. An assorted steel tape measure that can reach at least 25 feet, a ruler or other measurement marking device, and latent fingerprint equipment, gloves to protect the scene from contamination. This will enable that I avoid leaving my latent fingerprints, forceps and small tweezers, and a pair of scissors, a small saw to take evidence, for example, drywall, filter paper or small swabs for liquid evidence or trace evidence, various evidence containers for liquid and solid evidence, paper envelopes for physical evidence, evidence tape to seal off the evidence containers, casting material to take molds of possible footprints around the perimeter with a rubber container for the mixture. A magnifying device should be kept, crime scene tape for the scene, and then this one, protective clothing, boot covers, eyewear, fiber-free overalls, face masks, hair nets, gowns, and anything that will prevent me from contaminating the scene with things that I bring in with me. Mark, come back.
He can't hear us.
Oh, I think I'm back.
Oh,
Good. Can you hear us now?
Yep.
Oh, good.
yay!
Yay!
Woohoo!
Save Mark, we did it.
Oh, it's
We
because I
saved Mark.
left the house and I dropped the Wi-Fi.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Been there, done that. Forget to turn the
Mhm.
Wi-Fi off before you leave the house.
Yay, you're not going to forget me tonight?
Not tonight. Oh, wait.
Yay.
I think I'm forgetting. I
Oh,
think I'm leaving.
I think
We
I'm
kept him
leaving.
awake, Cher. We kept him awake so he won't be snoring when you get home.
I forgot one time.
Well, it
Okay,
happened.
Mark, I want to read this last part to you again. And this is the list of his crime scene kit if he were the investigator investigating a murder scene of a stabbed female.
Oh,
Okay, and I'm only going to read the last thing to you because I already ran through the whole list, but it's traditional things that you would need if you were doing a crime scene investigation. But this last thing is very, I think, important in my opinion. So it says protective clothing, boot covers, eyewear, fiber-free overalls, face masks, hair nets, gowns, and anything that will prevent me from contaminating the scene with things I bring in with me.
Hmm. Yeah, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That just stands out to me. It, like this paper, he put a lot of detail in it. I guarantee he got a plus 100% on this paper because he's talking about taking pictures of the home. A fiber-free boot cover would also be ideal to avoid leaving physical footprints or residue from the boot. Well, everybody's wondered, how was he stepping in blood and there's no footprints? There's only one latent shoe print.
Yeah.
Hmm.
If he had on fiber-free boot covers, that avoids leaving physical footprints or
Mm-hmm.
residue. And then the fiber-free, it says anything that is fiber-free and covers the mouth, hair, and overall body would be helpful in avoiding crime scene contamination, since hair, saliva, skin cells, and other bodily fluid or cells may be added to the scene, thus contaminating it. Fibers can be left via the theory of exchange and would contaminate the crime scene from its initial state as the offender left it.
Wow.
Well, the way they took the mattress and all that out, they didn't even cover it. They just took it out and put it in the back of a I forgot what they put it in the back of.
Was it a U-Haul?
I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't like really covered. They just took it out and just put it in the back. I mean, they didn't look like they were protecting the evidence too well to me. Because they were hauling it out. They had that tent looking thing up where you couldn't see when they were bringing stuff out. But there are pictures of it. Chevy truck bed, I think. Okay. I knew it was something like that they just put it in the back of.
So it wasn't even in a covered box truck.
No.
That was probably that hot shot lead investigator's idea.
Yeah, I mean, I was
Right.
like, why are they just shoving the stuff? Because that's how people got pictures of the bed. That's how pictures were floating around because people were, reporters were there. And of course it was on TV. And so that's how people were pictures of the mattress and stuff.
Right. I remember seeing pictures of the mattress when they were carrying it, but I don't remember seeing what vehicle it went into.
Mm-hmm.
I've slept a little bit since then, but
Yeah, I was like, how is that preserving evidence?
right. Yeah, I think that I agree with Rissa. You can only trust the papers and the court drops. And even then, we have to believe that whatever they put in these documents, they have evidence to back it up that will be shown during trial. You know, I mean, I don't think law enforcement would lie in these documents. Like, I don't know. The judge is going to expect them to back it up, you know?
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting when it goes to trial, because there must be a lot of information that we don't have.
Right. I agree with that.
But
And I wonder if they go ahead, Mark.
I just can't get my head around him doing all of this by himself. I just can't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just think it was the adrenaline and the control aspect and the surprise factor. You know, he went in there with an agenda of enjoying and savoring his project, which unfortunately was Maddie, in my opinion. And then Kaylee came in, messed it up, and so she, you know, caught the bad end of that. And that's why she was the one she was the first one who had her life taken, in my opinion. And that's why she was almost decapitated, because he was irritated that she came in and screwed up his plan. And so then he finished with Maddie and was leaving satisfied. And then he saw Ethan, and his adrenaline started pumping again. And Ethan went back towards the bedroom where Xana was, and he chased after him. If he said, "I'm here to help you," that's pretty messed up, in my opinion. But then he goes in there and takes care of Ethan. And Xana's sitting over on her bed up against the wall in fear. And he goes over to get her, and she fights back the most and has the most defensive wounds because he was exhausted. He had just done it 3 times before, you know, and I heard it takes a lot of energy to be able to do that. So, you know, he got her, and then then he left. And I think that that's why he didn't either. If Dylan was not involved, we lost Cher now.
He's probably coming out right now.
If Dylan was not involved, then when he was leaving, he probably didn't even notice her, you know, because her doorway was right there at the bottom of the stairs. So if it was dark in her bedroom and she opened the door, he might not have even noticed that the door was open, or that she was standing there peeking out the door, or, you know, he was trying to get out of there. He was exhausted by that point. He wouldn't have been able to take on another full-size human being, you know? So he just went right past her and didn't even notice, and straight out the back door. And that's just my opinion.
I still don't know why she didn't call 911 right after that.
Right.
Yeah.
That doesn't, even if he didn't see her and he went back out the door and she was safe after that, she should have called 911.
But how did she know she was safe? She didn't know she was safe. That's the thing. I would have called 911, because even if I saw him walk out the door, why did he go out the door? Did he break his knife? Is he going to get a gun? Like, what is he doing? Is he going to come back inside my house? The door's not locked.
Yeah, I would have
You
called
know?
911. I don't know why she didn't.
I would have been freaking out thinking I was going to get hurt by this stranger that's inside my house with his full face covered, dressed in all black, and I don't know who he is.
She obviously
Mhm.
wasn't. It's either she wasn't scared of him and she knew who it was, or I don't believe she was in so much shock she couldn't call 911. I don't care what you say.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't buy that.
Yeah.
Did you read the text?
To text her friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
did you read those texts, Mark?
I did, yeah. And Bethany said Xana was wearing all black. So
Right.
that's weird.
And she could have been wearing all black, and the only way that Bethany would have seen Xana is when she came downstairs to the front door to get the DoorDash.
Mm-hmm.
But why say that?
Mm-hmm.
Were their texts deleted? You know, did Dylan say, I saw a guy wearing all black? And then Bethany said, well, Xana was wearing all black. You know, like,
Yeah. I think
Mhm.
that we only got some of the texts.
Yeah.
that's right, Eve. Sigma Chi's president and job slogan was, we're here to help. And is Sigma Chi the frat that was like right across the band yard from the house?
Mm.
Sigma Chi's president's and job slogan was, we're here to help.
Hmm.
That's weird. But Brian wasn't, he didn't even go to that school. Oh, Ethan's frat. Yeah. I wonder how much he studied the victims and their associates, and, you know, like who lived in the house and what their
Mhm.
schedule was. And, you know, like, I wonder, I mean, it's just like a stalker, you know, like a celebrity stalker, or, you know, I think that's easier for people to comprehend better than just a random stranger spot you one day and starts stalking you. You know, like, that's hard for people to believe. But with a celebrity, it's easier. So, you know, if you think about it that way, like, somebody starts stalking a celebrity, they learn every intimate detail that they can about that person. So I wonder if he did, you know, similar things like that.
I would think he did.
Yeah.
That's why it's still makes me so curious why he chose to go into a house with so many people,
Mm-hmm.
especially if he was solo.
Mm-hmm.
Could just be the cocky thing, but man, I don't know.
You're roboting.
I'm robotic.
You're right.
Now you're better. It might be me.
Oh, it could have been me because I was just coming inside the house here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, reconnecting to the Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm. There is something fishy about the roommates. I agree, Eve.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
whole thing's messed up.
And then when you call 911, you say, I think she's passed out. Now, come on. You had to have seen the stab wounds in the blood.
Well, now, Tammie, I just told Mark when I first came up on panel, I told Mark and Cher, I had just heard today that allegedly it was Ethan's brother that showed up on the crime scene, right? That's
Yeah.
the male that they called over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Allegedly, the male did not let the females go up on the second floor into the bedroom, into Xana and Ethan's room. He went in himself. And so the girls never saw Ethan and Xana. But even if that's true, that would have been his twin brother laying there stabbed to death and his girlfriend stabbed to death. And he goes in and yells their name And none of them noticed the smell. Of 4 deceased bodies, none of them noticed that smell.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah,
and it
but
sounds like when he calls out Ethan Zana, you hear like he's not screaming.
mm-mm.
So, and she's got the phone.
Right.
So she's there. She's in the
Right.
house at that point.
Yep. Now, she could have been
And
on the stairs. So remember when you go in the front door, you turn to your left and go straight up the staircase there to get into the living room. And then you have to turn right to go straight down that long hallway to get to Xana's bedroom. And
Mhm.
in the living room, there's a 4-foot wall where you can look over down the stairs.
But wasn't she on the phone with 911 before Ethan's brother even got there?
They were only on the phone for 4 minutes. I think he was already there.
Yeah, I think so.
I think. I mean,
Well, and the neighbor was there.
yeah.
I'm not really
Yeah.
sure why.
They said something about a house full of people, that why would they call all those people over? And then why would they wait for so long to call 911?
Well, she told him to go look, and the girl, whoever the person was, said, "Yes, we have to go look. She told us to."
Right.
So at that
was Bethany.
Yeah, so how did she know that she was passed out to even say that if she hadn't checked?
Right. Somebody went in that room.
Mm-hmm.
The door was open when law enforcement got there, when Officer Detective Newbie, he said you could see it from the hallway.
Mm-hmm. I still think she saw it. I think she saw it before, because she saw that before she even called Ethan's brother. She had to have saw that before she even called anybody. If
Well,
it was that
something
bad,
ain't making sense.
hmm?
Like, is she still sitting in her room calling everybody and not coming out of her room until other people show up?
Yeah, I mean, she had to have
Right.
saw it.
Like, did she not like leave to go to the bathroom or anything? Like, this is so weird.
Yeah.
Well, and there's a bathroom on each floor. On all 3 floors. But there's 1 bathroom and 2 bedrooms on all floors.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
Yeah.
I made a
Almost
video
like-
showing the layout of the house because it's so confusing. And I used pictures and videos that the roommates took from inside the home. And there's one video of Maddie, I'm pretty sure it's Maddie, coming up the stairs in the living room. And that's where you can see, I'm trying to see if I can find it here. And that bathroom, here it is. The bathroom that's right there by the front door, by Xana's bedroom door, that's a big bathroom. That's where the washer and dryer is too.
Yeah, yeah. And you would have thought Ethan's brother would at least said something. If he didn't want to say what he saw in front of the girls, he could have at least said something along the lines of, "You need to get here, it's bad," or not just she's
Right.
passed, because you've got police and medics coming to somebody they think is just passed out. You're not preparing them that they're coming to that.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're sending an ambulance and first responders to, try to save somebody who's unconscious.
Yeah.
That's a whole different unit.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the stairs right here that I was talking about. And I'm pretty sure I don't have the volume on. This was my live stream of playing it. But so this was Bethany's door right here to the right. And then the bathroom is directly across from the front door. So you can see. And the neighbor said the front door was standing wide open at, I think, from 7 to 8:30 or 9 o'clock that morning. And the front door handle didn't have, it had a keypad on it. So you didn't have to have a key to enter the home. And that is the, let me see. Let me skip through that. Get back to where I play the video again. I should have just pulled up the video. Okay, so right here, this is standing at the bottom of the stairs looking up, and this is standing at the top of the stairs looking down on the right side. So here's the front door down here. And this is Xana's bedroom here. So if the girls were on the phone with 911, we would have heard him yell Xana and Ethan, you know, if they were standing anywhere in this area, I would think. So I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt of not seeing either of the bodies in Xana's room.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the other thing too is she was pretty hysterical on the call.
Mm-hmm.
And Bethany
So-
was, yes.
So was it Bethany or Dylan?
I'm pretty
Well,
sure they
wh-
said it was Bethany that had called.
Okay. But yeah, so during that 911 call, like right away, she's like very, very upset and crying and panicky.
Mm-hmm.
For someone who's passed out, not waking up, I think that's a bit of an overreaction.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to ask, do you think it's real or do you think it was fake?
Yeah, like I'm starting to wonder. Like I don't understand how she could have been calling 911 without knowing that at least one person was dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like,
Because
I just,
when you played the 911 call the second time, I was sitting here listening to when Bethany was whimpering, and I didn't want to say it because I don't want a victim, well, she's not a victim anyway, because she's still living. The 4 victims are deceased. But I don't want to, be mean at all to her. But it sounded fake when I heard it the second time that you played it.
yeah, when you hear that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, that
Exactly.
really sounded odd.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And certainly
that
not
is-
a reaction of someone who's just unconscious.
Right.
Like, definitely not.
Yep.
When you combine that with the text that they had 8 hours prior, it's not making sense.
Yeah. None of it adds up on their end. And I'm worried for law enforcement, for the DA, for the state. Is Ann Taylor so much of a bulldog that she could pick their stories apart?
Oh, they're going to get obliterated when they testify.
Mm-hmm. Because even if she can make the jury suspect that Dylan and Bethany had something to do with it instead of Brian, all she needs is that little bit of reasonable doubt.
Yeah. Well, I think there's enough evidence to convict Brian either way. But I just don't know if he was the only one involved. It just seems so odd for your first kill to do it in a house full of people.
Mm-hmm.
But if something was planned and someone was teaching you the layout of the house and stuff like that, and maybe.
If you had somebody on the, quote, inside.
Yeah. Didn't want to say it that way, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, to think about it, because that's the only thing that would make sense. He didn't think Kaylee was going to be there. Nobody thought Kaylee was going to be there. Kaylee surprised them and came home to show off her new Range Rover. So she wasn't supposed to be at home that weekend. So he would have been upstairs on the 3rd floor, directly above Dylan, by himself with Maddie.
Okay. So how could he possibly know that she would be the only one on the top floor? Has he
was
been in that house
inside the
before?
house. Yeah, he was inside the house one time before. I believe, well, they assume that he had been. His cell phone had connected to their house Wi-Fi back in August.
So he was very close to their house, if not inside it.
Yes. Right, Rissa. And the whole timeline is based on them. It's based on their account of the entire night. That's right. Great point.
This is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's very, very weird.
Yep. Does get crazier all the time. Yep.
So here's Dylan's bedroom, and that's, let me go back here. So standing in the hallway, looking into the kitchen at the bottom of the stairs on the 2nd floor, looking up to the 3rd floor. You can see the kitchen window here above or by the sink. And then the patio doors that he allegedly went out are these here and these here from the inside. And there's another view of the kitchen. There was a little pantry there. And then there's the stairs to go up the stairs. It's a 2-part stairway. There's Dylan's bedroom, directly below Maddie's bedroom. And then there's from standing inside the kitchen, looking back towards Dylan's bedroom. Excuse me.
Oh, man.
So she would have watched him walk, completely towards the door. So she would have known that he went out the door. Did she go and lock the door behind him? No. I bet not. That wasn't ever mentioned if she did.
Yeah. Apparently just locked herself in her room and that was it.
Right.
And just tried texting and calling people.
Yeah.
Instead of calling 911.
It just doesn't make sense.
And that I don't get that. Like if you're so scared that something's wrong and someone's in your house, you don't call 911.
Yeah.
Or if you don't think it's something that serious, why wouldn't she go and check? Like, why aren't you answering your phone? Like, literally, it's up a flight of stairs and you're there.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Nope, it really doesn't.
Unless she didn't want to call 911 because she didn't want them to find stuff in the house.
And that was rumor.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of rumor that the reason why they waited so long to call 911 and had friends come over was because they had illegal substances inside the house that needed to be removed before law enforcement arrived.
Yeah. And that would make a lot of sense because college kids.
Right. And it's a party house. It's a very well-known party house. On September 1st, when they had the noise complaint, there wasn't even a resident inside the home, and the house was full of people. They had to call Maddie on the phone.
Wow.
That would be the only reason I could think of that she wouldn't call 911.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still,
even
why wait
still.
that long?
Yeah.
Or unless you're letting someone escape.
Mm.
You're
Yeah,
giving
That's
clean
not
up.
impossible.
Mm-hmm. Giving
I mean,
somebody
there's
time to wherever they need to be.
Yeah, like it was possibly prearranged.
Mm-hmm.
maybe there's a reason why there wasn't any DNA left. Maybe it wasn't just his planning of the full bodysuit, the lint-free bodysuit or fiber-free bodysuit or whatever it was called.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe there
Thinking there
was.
released the conversations between him and the BTK or whoever he was talking to, because I'm curious what all information he got from that guy.
Well, someone was saying that it wasn't directly with BTK, it was with the guy who wrote his biography or whatever.
Okay.
Mm,
So he
the
talked
female,
to-
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he did.
the female that wrote it was his one of his teachers, I believe.
Oh.
But he idolized BTK. So I don't know if he ended up writing him in prison, you know, if he had direct communication with him, or if it was just learning from the person who wrote the biography, you know. But yeah, she was one of his teachers, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
Maybe chat can help us out with that a little bit more detail for share there. But right, the latent shoe print was only visible with Blue Star, and it was right outside of Dylan's doorway at the bottom of the stairs. Kathleen Ramsland.
So, well, I'm very confused how they only found one shoe print. Because, like, even if you're wearing plastic or something over your shoes, you're going to be dragging blood everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was a latent shoe print. So it wasn't even actual footprint or shoe print, you know, from stepping in blood or whatever. And I believe that there is carpet on the stairs. Let me see. So upstairs. Okay, upstairs had hardwood flooring or laminate flooring, but I believe the stairs had carpet. Where was that one? Hold on. Let me get back to that one video of Kaylee. If I can find it again. There it is. Okay, in this video, hold on. I didn't stop it. Let me see. Try again. She was such a pretty girl.
Mm-hmm. I can't tell.
I'm going to try to zoom in if I can get it to stop on the right spot. Okay, let me. Right there. Maybe. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. Theater mode. There we go. Takes me a little time. Okay, I'm learning here. So it looks like is that wood or is that carpet on the stairs right there?
Still can't tell.
Okay, hold on. Let me try to make it smaller again and get down here. And we'll slow it down.
Kind of looks like wood.
Yeah, it does. So if he was coming down the stairs so it doesn't look like there's any carpet in the house at all. Now I know in the older pictures of when the house was for sale, Kaylee's bedroom had carpet in it. But when she was in there, it was hardwood floor or, laminate, linoleum, something.
I really wonder if the cops did luminol tests on the floors in the hallway and the stairs. So I just got a sinking feeling that someone cleaned up a lot of blood.
Mm-hmm.
I would hope that they would. I mean, like here, they're trying to dust for fingerprints and stuff on the outside of the window here. Was this the one? There was one of these pictures that was taken like this, and you could see a human's face in the picture, and there wasn't a human standing there. Oh, thank you, Eve. I match the energy, I enjoy hearing what other people think, and it makes my brain think, and I try to make their brain think, and it's teamwork.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's always the goal.
Yep.
I don't enjoy talking about people getting murdered just for the hell of it. I
Right.
want to find answers.
Yeah.
Right. I'll try to understand it some way, somehow. So see, that's the second floor, the main common area there. And they had their sectional in the corner like that. And then I'm showing that corner, that little nook area right there. They had like a wine cart sitting there. And then they had the marble painting above it. And then they had the good vibes sign on the wall to the left in that corner. And it looked like the good vibe sign was on. So that would have added light to that area. So that may be how he was able to see Ethan. But if Dylan was right there, see, if her door was just barely opened and it was dark in her bedroom, I don't think he would have seen her as he was walking past that doorway.
Yeah, maybe not.
And that's where she would have been looking out of. So that's inside of Dylan's.
If she wasn't involved, she's definitely like one of the luckiest human beings on earth.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Because holy crap.
She should be playing the lottery.
Mm-hmm.
And Bethany was another floor down, right?
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
she was on the first floor. So looking at the front of the house, she was on the first floor to the right of the front door,
Okay, yeah.
directly below Xana's bedroom.
Hmm. This is crazy.
It is.
And Dylan's bedroom, okay, I show that part too. I played this whole video. So this video of the house tour I made like right after this had happened. It was one of the few videos that I did make for the Idaho 4 case. And this part right here baffled me because this is Dylan's bedroom window. See, there's the carpet. That was Kaylee's bedroom before it was Kaylee's bedroom.
Hmm.
But I want to see this other view of this window here because, oh, that was when I got booted off panel because my Chrome wanted to update.
Technology.
Yep.
I'm telling you, it's irritating.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the attic entryway.
Yeah.
And Tammie was thinking about the attic, and that's directly above Maddie's door.
Yeah.
So, Tammie, you want to share your theory there?
Well, I think he was hiding somewhere like that. I think he went in while they were all out because they were all out at one point of the house. They were all out at that food truck at one point. So they were, everybody was out of the house at one time and they had keypads for their doors. So it was a party house. So either people knew the key, they would either change the keypad, code every time they would not have it, after the party was over, or they would leave it where you didn't have to use the keypad to get in. So I'm sure that code had either been passed around or whatever, but I feel like he snuck in there when they were all gone. And that's where he hid in the attic and just waited.
Yeah, could be.
That's what I think. Because there was also a room there that wasn't being used.
Yeah, downstairs
Mm-hmm.
on the first floor, the bedroom on the left-hand side directly below the living room. That was the bedroom we originally were told was Dylan's bedroom. And then we find out that she was up on the second floor, not the first floor. So this is the third floor. This is when you come up the stairs and turn to your right. Maddie's bedroom is there. This is the bathroom. And then Kaylee's bedroom is directly behind you. And Kaylee's bedroom is above the kitchen.
Okay.
So the way that the house is laid out, it's easier to explain it from the side and from the front of the house, I think. So if I can get it right here. Oh, this is when, okay, this shows the stairs right here. This is Maddie. And she's in the living room area here. And there's Dylan's bedroom. And then she goes up those stairs past Dylan's bedroom. And there's Xana's bedroom. Okay, go to the front of the house. See, there's the bathroom. That's the bathroom that's right there on, right before Xana's bedroom. It's on the left-hand side. So it has the washer and dryer in there, and then the sink, and then the shower. And this view is from the doorway. So that's a big bathroom there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I hate to do this since we're in the middle of something, but I got to get some sleep.
Yep.
That's fine. I'm just playing around here.
Mhm.
All right.
Well,
Thank you, everybody, for hanging and watching. And
Yeah.
thank you, Tammie, and thank you, Mandy, for coming up and sharing your wisdom.
Sorry for being late. Sorry.
Yes.
Well,
Sorry for being
C-sections. What are you
tardy
gonna
to
do?
the party.
It
Thanks
was
for
pretty
the
good, though.
invitation.
Yes,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
good. Thanks for having us up, Mark. A lot of good information.
Yes. Let me know what you think after you watch that video I sent you,
Yeah.
the second email. Watch that and listen to some of those details that he put in that paper. I think that is a lot of insight into Brian Koberger.
Yeah, that definitely piques my interest for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Okay.
I'll have
Good
fun.
night.
Let you say your goodbyes.
Good night, chat. Good night, everybody. Good night, Brother Mark.
Good night.
Good
Talk
night,
to you
Tammie.
later. Good night, sis.
I don't know if she heard. She's chatting with the girls.
Oh, all right. Thank you so much for having me up. I have to say my outro. May you have the kind of day that karma feels you've earned. And until next time, I love you bunches and share too. Bye.
Love you too, Mandy. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. And yeah, we'll be doing more of this. There's just a whole lot of confusion about how the two girls in that house were behaving during and after the murders. The 911 call was very confusing. I don't want to blame these girls. I don't want to say that they had a part in it, but something just isn't adding up. A guy planning his first kill, trying to do that in a house full of people. He knows it's a party house. He knows things are unexpected. He knows people are coming and going. He knows it's unpredictable, as so not what a killer would normally do when they're stalking and planning. And this obviously wasn't like a spur of the moment spree type thing. So yeah, it's just so weird, and I don't know what to make of it all. But gonna sign off for now. Thank y'all for watching. Take care. And until next time, this is Prairie Boy 77, aka Mr. Share, aka Mark, aka the Beard of Reason, aka the Voice of Reason, saying good day, good night, and Godspeed. Love y'all.